Good morning, everyone. I'm Adisha Goswami. Today, I'll be presenting an academic review of Sunit Ilma's article Women's Contribution to Peacebuilding, a comparative analysis of Middle Eastern experiences. The study particularly explores how women in Lebanon, Palestine, Iraq, and Iran contribute to peace building and how their roles are shaped by structural, political, and cultural constraints. The article is grounded in the Women, Peace and Security Framework or the WPS, which emphasizes four pillars: participation, protection, prevention, and recovery. The author adopts a comparative case study uh, approach between 2019 to 2025 to analyze both policy frameworks and grassroots initiatives. The study acknowledges the paradox of women's participation as they are essential to this process of peace building, yet remain systematically excluded from decision making. The introduction sets the tone for a critical reflection on how gendered power relations continue to shape peace processes in the Middle Eastern countries. Coming to the summary, and in Lebanon, we can see that women's participation was institutionalized through National Action Plan on UN Security Council Resolution 1325. However, the implementation was weak due to chronic political instability and elite-driven governance. Despite these, the women-led organizations played crucial roles in community mediation and relief work. In Palestine, women have been central to local peace dialogues and reconciliation initiatives. Yet their exclusion from formal negotiation highlights the gap between the policy rhetoric and the actual gender inclusion. Iraq represents one of the more progressive cases, with its National Action Plan strengthening women's involvement in post conflict recovery and security reform. But still, the implementation gap and sectarian divisions limited its impact. And last but not the least, Iran, the focus shift to women's informal peace building effort. Despite a restrictive political environment, women have been sustained grassroots civic activism, promoting reconciliation, education, and humanitarian dialogue. The author calls this form of quiet peace building where women's agency thrives even in the constrained spaces. Uh, if we try to evaluate the article, so methodologically the article is very strong. It uses directed content analysis under the WPS pillars and allowing the structured comparison and the integration of feminist theory, especially from the scholars like Cynthia Enloe and Carol Cohen, adds conceptual depth. One of the article's major strengths is balance between institutional and grassroots perspective. However, there are some limitations. The depth of analysis varies in between the cases. The intersectional factors like class and ethnicity received very limited attention, and a stronger engagement with the post-colonial feminist thinkers such as Chandra Mohante or Saba Mahmood could have deepened the critique of Western-centric WPS narratives. But the article is quite relevant today. The study is highly relevant both because of its academic and political influence. Academically, it expands feminist peace research into Middle Eastern contexts that are often overlooked. In policy terms, it highlights that peace-building frameworks must be localized. Adopting even resolution is not enough without genuine institutional reform. And regionally, it celebrates women's resilience and adaptive agency in contexts of authoritarianism and conflict. So broadly, it contributes to the ongoing global efforts to decolonize peacebuilding and acknowledge the non-Western feminist knowledge. To conclude, the study shows that the women's everyday peace practices, from caregiving to community dialogue, these are foundational to sustainable peace. The reach successfully bridges policy, theory, and lived experience, providing valuable lessons for inclusive peace building. Overall, this article stands as an important contribution to both gender as well as peace studies. It reminds us that the real peace cannot be achieved without recognizing and empowering women as equal architects of reconciliation and recovery. Thank you.